Resident Evil is a long-running series that's constantly grappled with its own identity. As times have changed, so too has the direction of Capcom's primary horror series. Starting out as a slow, methodical puzzle box, it gradually added more and more action until we got the midsection of 4 to 6, where the slow, methodical horror was out in favour of blasting big, ugly monsters. This got stripped way back again with 7 and 8, which returned the series to a slower variety of horror, one more directly inspired by the rise of first-person stalker horror, where stealth and limited weapon usage was a better recipe for success than the regular zombie blasting. The problem with all of this is that it does give Resident Evil a bit of an identity crisis. Sure, it's remained a beloved franchise, but at the end of the day, what is Resident Evil? That's the question that Requiem, the latest game in the series, sets out to answer. It does so mainly by taking all these disparate styles of Resident Evil games and throwing them into a blender. On one hand, we have Grace, daughter to Alyssa Ashcroft, the journalist character from the ancient and now difficult to play online co-op game Outbreak. She's an FBI analyst sent out into the field to examine a murder site, where she proceeds to get captured. It's a plot contrivance that suggests the FBI are incompetent, since sending out an untrained desk worker onto a site that she has a personal traumatic connection to without the support of a trained field agent is generally seen as a bad idea in the real world. Or they're directly connected to the conspiracy at the heart of all of this and it was fully intentional. Who knows? Much like Ethan Winters before her, Grace is a newcomer to the series, thrown into sudden danger and forced to fend for herself against impossible horrors. The gameplay is very evocative of the recent Resident Evil experience, lots of stalking around, trying not to get ripped apart from monstrous beings significantly bigger and stronger than you. It's even first person by default, putting your face even closer to the horrors. But it also evokes classic Resident Evil. Unlike 7 and 8's more linear approach to design, Grace is dumped into the Chronic Care Center, a good old-fashioned Resident Evil mansion-style environment where your goal is to collect keys, to unlock doors, to collect more keys, solving puzzles until you eventually escape. Admittedly, it plays more like the recent remakes of 2 and 3 than the original PS1 entries, with more streamlined mechanics and better voice acting. You can even play it in third person over the shoulder, much like the remakes, which I did because I always struggle with horror games in first person, but this is another praise I have to give it. I fully welcome the choice being available from the outset. It's a way of appeasing every fan, I guess. But this section of the game is superb, as you meticulously wind your way around the hospital, occasionally stalked by a chef and a giant, whatever this is, solving puzzles, crafting bullets with blood samples somehow, and gradually uncovering the dark secrets at the heart of all of this. It is interesting how we've gone back to straightforward zombies after a variety of other creatures throughout the series' history, as they feel like they fit this type of gameplay perfectly with their slow movement and ability to catch you unaware by simply standing ominously in corridors. But I also like how these zombies have evolved from the original games. No longer just a series of generic shambling corpses, these zombies all retain something from their past lives, croaking out words that reflect their last vestiges of humanity and expressing themselves in a wide range of activities. For instance, the zombies who just want to make sure all the lights are turned off, the maids whose entire existence seems to be flailing attempts to clean up the pools of blood that keep popping up everywhere, or the head trauma patients whose injuries make them wish everyone else would stop being so damn loud, including you. Of course, it made the zombies their own little puzzle, where they could be lured or evaded in ways that made your life easier. Using head trauma boys to attack other zombies by smashing bottles in their vicinity was always satisfying, or redirecting the light switch boys to keep them away from you are all great options. It was also nice to get more traditional bonkers Resident Evil puzzles, as you unlock a series of literal puzzle boxes to collect highly specific key items. And now the game even references how silly these types of puzzles truly are, as staff in the care centre write reminders that they need magical gems and other such items to open different parts of the ward. And yet the puzzles remain, despite their silliness, because, well, you can't have a Resident Evil game without some sort of crank needing to be rotated. But then there's the other half of the game, the return of the man who effectively kicked off Resident Evil's maximum action period, Mr. Leon Sex Kennedy himself. Now focus tested to be as hot as possible, he strides in to act as a palate cleanser after scrambling around and stammering his Grace. Leon's sections are anything but subtle gentle horror, as indicated by his first section where he almost immediately roundhouse kicks a zombie before pulling out an aggressively large hand cannon to blast more of them. The contrast between these two playable characters is vast. An early Grace section sees you stalking in the shadows, running for your life from a creature you have no defense against, before Leon simply walks in and blows its head off in a cutscene. This contrast persists as the game progresses. After painfully avoiding Mr. Chunk as Grace, you're immediately thrown into a boss fight against his brother and handed a shotgun as Leon, and I could not stop laughing when this happened. When Leon takes center stage in the second half of the game, everything shifts. Now you're in full-on third-person shooter mode, fighting zombies whose remnants of humanity include a love of chainsaws and mortar training. Leon is an unstoppable force of nature, thrown into set pieces like climbing a crumbling building, or riding a motorcycle up the side of another building like he's Jin Kazama in the Tekken 8 story mode. While Grace scrabbles around in the dirt for crumbs of supplies, Leon's opponents drop items at their feet, meaning you'll basically never run out of bullets, even though you will also use a lot of them. Leon also comes ready with a steady stream of quips, although at this point they're delivered with a cold detachment that suggests he no longer feels anything by delivering them. He's just been doing them so long he simply can't stop.
Sorry, but I'm not on the menu. Well, that's my cardio for the week.
It's a fun shift, one that requires an entirely different outlook on how you approach the game, and yet it's one that feels kind of satisfying after some of the more tense moments in Grace's story. And with that, I still feel that Leon's story managed to evoke strong emotional resonance beyond the joy of just parrying a chainsaw with another chainsaw. The return to Raccoon City adds humanity to Leon, as his own trauma comes to the surface, remembering the first day of his new job and how it led him down an entirely different path to the one he had planned. There are definitely moments when the non-stop action can get a little tedious, a problem that's kind of a mirror to the middle games of the series more generally, but the reflective moments in the RPD do help pull things back a little, even if you do have to ramp through an explosion to get there. I adored Resident Evil, mainly for how well it managed to balance the entire history of the series into a single cohesive whole. It's got your spooky bits, it's got full-blown RE4 camp, and they play off each other perfectly. I perhaps would have liked a bit more from Grace, both exploring her character further narratively, and in terms of the slow, puzzle-based gameplay, but this is really all I could ask for. I just wonder where the heck the series can go from here. This feels like a definitive statement on the series, one that brings every idea into one place, and so effectively that it's making me want to go back and revisit the entire series. Maybe I will one day. Narratively, it makes a strong case for being the final game in the whole saga. If this is where it all ends, I'd be pretty satisfied. But we all know Capcom isn't going to stop milking this cash cow any time. I just hope that any future entries are handled as effectively as they managed here. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed my brief thoughts on Resident Evil Requiem. I've been slowly putting out a series of these reviews as we go along, so if you want to see more of this, please make sure you are subscribed for future videos. And also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, leave a comment, all of that stuff. If you really, really like what you see here today, and you want to support the channel financially, then I do have a Patreon. The link is in the description. And you'll get updates every week about what goes on with the channel. And yeah, that's really all I have to say for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.